we've just been riding lots of really nice smooth trail, and then you can never get the sense of it because I'm looking downhill, but this is steep. And the bit where Tom's on is just pure rock. It's really tough riding, particularly when you've got all this gear on. Speed is definitely a friend on this.
And I'm just so tired. You really need good momentum to get over those things, but once you've stopped, which I did, they're too bumpy to get momentum enough for you to stand up on your pegs, unless you're some pro rider. I'm exhausted. I had a rubbish night's sleep last night. Graham's lost his sat nav, so he's gone down the path to look for his sat nav.
My sat nav dropped off. But after an hour of searching, my patience paid off, and a fully functional, undamaged sat nav was returned to my possession. Just like day one, I'm stuck in snow again. Well, I'm stuck in the hole that someone's been made by wheel spinning through the snow, right axle deep. So now we either try and roll the bike back and fill the hole up with snow so I can ride over it, or we try and pull it forward.
Thank you for that, buddy. I totally wouldn't have got through that without your help. That was a struggle.
My pleasure. All part of the adventure. You're going to be so sick of me saying that. Later that afternoon, Tom finally thought he'd got his own back from my first day bike-off dare that had made him cry. As you just saw, Tom was actually riding along the trail, but it's been completely flooded by the little river. I went around the outside in the mud. I'm not sure which was harder work, actually, but Tom's got wetter, but I think he got through it a bit more easily.
Did that look all manly and cool?
He did. You'd look manly, more manly and more cool if you just rode through it standing up, not putting your feet down and waving like a duck. You can't hit me because I've got a camera in my hand.
Graham?
You can't hit me, I've got a camera in my hand.
Great Arctic Bike Off dare you to go through that whole thing feet up. That makes me look like a right wuss now. It's hard to go in that way. Did you not do it? Did you not do it going this way?
It doesn't matter. I did it.
Yeah, what you forget, Graham, is I'm the editor. So I'm going to edit your second run in, and then I'm going to cut me saying this over the top. So Graham tried and failed. I didn't get through, and this is how it is.
Of course, Tom is a sore loser and a pathological liar. The truth was that I beat his dare. After the freezing camping, we spent the night at an Airbnb in Reeth, and then once again, we were off. Unfortunately, the blue skies and sunshine of the previous 2 days had deserted us entirely. It was cold and wet. Castle Bolton was passed in a drizzly haze, as was pretty much everything else. But you take the rough with the smooth on an adventure. Small problemo this morning. Tom's almost out of fuel. And we got to the petrol station and all the pumps for unleaded are off. so we're a bit stuck. There's 8 miles, and Tom's already on the yellow light, which is probably about 5 miles. Well, I guess we have to just go back in the direction and see if we can get there.
So the trouble is I have a much smaller fuel tank than Graham, much smaller.
Running out of fuel in the UK is not the issue it would be in the Mauritanian desert, for example, but it would still be a pain. And the Yorkshire Dales don't have fuel every few miles like some other places. But we got ourselves sorted, headed back the way we came, and on to our next stop at Skipton Castle. So we've been riding for 3.5 days through just the most stunning, beautiful English countryside. I think it's not so much easy to forget, but you can kind of sometimes take for granted that countryside because there is so much work that goes on to preserve it for us. So we're at Skipton Castle at the moment, and I want to find out a bit more about the work the Woodland Trust is doing. So here we are with Hazel from the Woodland Trust.
Hello.
Nice to see you. So just tell us a little bit generally about the work that the Woodland Trust does, because it's a huge amount of work across the country, isn't it?
Yes, we are the UK's biggest tree conservation charity.
So I was reading on the website that there is a particular project in the north of England to create a national wood, national forest across the breadth of the country.
That's right, and we're really lucky that it's happening here in the north, and it's called the Northern Forest. So the Woodland Trust is working with a number of landowners, charities and community groups to create a new wood for the north of England. And in terms of its location, if you think about the line of the M62, it kind of follows the path of that road, really.
So we're here in the grounds of the beautiful Skipton Castle, and specifically behind us is Skipton Castle Woods.
Yes.
So it's something very specific here, isn't it?
Yeah, Skipton Castle Woods is an ancient woodland, and the UK has around 12 to 13% of woodland coverage, but ancient wood makes up for less than 2% of that. So ancient woods are really special. They're really unique habitats that cannot be recreated. Once they've gone, they've gone. So part of the work of the Woodland Trust is to protect these woods, and in this case we fully manage Skipton Castle Woods on behalf of the castle. So when people think of ancient woodland, I think it's that kind of fairy tale image, isn't it, of very big sort of veteran or ancient trees, very gnarly trees, and in lots of cases that is what an ancient wood looks like. For Skipton it's a little bit different. An ancient woodland is technically a wood that has forest cover for over 400 years. Okay. So although we don't have any ancient trees here, because this is a wood that's been worked very hard for timber production in the past, it's actually to do with the ground cover within the wood itself.
Okay. That's something. Well, Hazel, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
It's been lovely to meet you and find out a bit more about the work that the Trust does.
Thank you.
Thank you. The reason why we're all crouched down is it's so windy and foul and horrible and rainy. We've had to crouch down behind a dry stone wall just to get out the wind, so that otherwise the camera will just pick up nothing but wind and not our voices. So, go on Tom, how do you feel about today? How's the weather been?
Wet, cold. It was wet for a bit, and then after it was wet it was cold, and then it was wet and cold together, and then later on, luckily, it was cold and then wet.
And the riding's completely different because we're kind of in lowlands off-road riding, which is just mud, 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 mud. Bit of gravel and mud.
Graham doesn't like mud.
No. I don't particularly mind big bouldery stuff. I mean, it scares the hell out of me, but I can do it. Mud scares me far worse. I just feel completely out of control. Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah. But tonight is Youth Hostel night, which is very outdoorsy and walkerish and ramblerish and cyclerish and adventure, off-road, trail ride, bikerish.
And you don't have to be a youth, which is lucky because...
If you weren't holding the camera, I'd swat you over. Our night stop at the hostel was in the tiny village of Sladeburn. We started our visit by chatting to the friendly local Yorkshireman. Although chat might be a bit of a stretch because at times I really had no idea what he was saying.
With that notice board, that's the end of the building.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Dead easy then. Thank you.
Yes, that must be right. Right there, that's the end of the building there, just that way.
Perfect.
Shop's
Thank you.
opposite, but can't miss it.
Yeah, perfect.
Have you come far?
Reef.
Reef?
Yeah, so...
Daniel up there. Rough.
Yeah, it was cold this morning. So yeah, I don't know, what's about 80 miles? I mean, they're not that far.
Up near Richmond and...
Yeah, near Richmond. Yes, yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, the people we stayed with last night, he works at Catterick, so...
Oh, so where are you heading for then tomorrow?
Buxton.
Buxton, oh, no.